This is the Henry's Child Podcast. Am I crazy? Or am I just raving?
It's been a couple months since I've done an Am I Crazy or Am I Just Raving podcast. And my last participant was my friend Farmer Greif. And Farmer's a hard act to follow because he is just a good dude and super easy to talk to. And I also have to confess that was my first completely 100% remote podcast. So he was in Hollywood, California and set up a mic on his end. And I was up in Portland and had a mic on my end and just kind of put it together. So it was really, really great. And, you know, truth be told, we kind of went into a little bit of a winter hibernation. But the good news is, Henry's Child is back and stronger than ever. I am very excited to finally officially announce to you, our friends and family, that Henry's Child is having a release show for a new record on April 27th, that's a Saturday, down in Eugene, at the HiFi Music Lounge. It's going to be a 14 and older show, so if your kids are over the age of 14, please bring them. This is going to be a fantastic show. Jollymon is going to be opening and playing about an hour, and we're going to be playing really two sets. We're going to do the new record in its entirety, and we're going to have an acoustic set in the middle, and then we're going to do all the classics at the end of the show. We also have Brian Forrester, who is the singer of 7 Second Circle. He is going to come up and do background vocals on virtually the entire record. He's actually all over the record. I think he sings on 5 of the 6 songs that we have going to press right now. And his son, Cameron, is 17. He's a senior in high school, and he also is all over the record too. He sang about as equal as his father did, and both those guys are going to be joining us on stage. So it is going to be a very, very special show full of family and friends, and it's going to be really, really awesome. So please mark your calendar for April 27th, 2019 at the HiFi Music Hall down in Eugene. Today I sat down and I spoke with Carey Rich. He came back for another space metal sermon. Ever since that first podcast, Carey and I became really, really close friends. And we've been in touch following each other's bands for the last, whatever it's been, 8 or 9 months. And in fact, when we spoke before for the first podcast, I think episode number 17 of the Am I Crazy or Am I Just Raving podcast was actually before VoidWalker was released. So I had heard a sort of pre-sample of it and knew it was going to be a big record, but I didn't know it was going to be as strong as it ended up being. So we talk a little bit about the making of VoidWalker. We talk a little bit about some of the band member changes in early Jollymon. And Carey really surprised me. He, as I was kind of getting him into the office, he's like, "Hey man, come out and meet me at my car." And so I met him at his car, and he had brought a bunch of gear. And it was really awesome. In fact, we actually did the podcast, paused for a minute, moved the mics over, and actually jammed for close to an hour. I have the whole thing on video. It's very, very cool and a pleasant surprise. And then we actually ended up finishing up the podcast after that. So what happened is the mic placement at the very end of this episode is slightly different than where it was in the beginning. So you'll have to forgive me of the last kind of 8 to 9 minutes of this where Carey and I are talking. We had the mics were a little bit off. Now the sound isn't bad necessarily, but it's definitely different and not quite as clear as it was in the beginning when I had a few minutes to kind of check the microphones and stuff. So anyway, please enjoy my conversation with Carey Rich. Ladies and gentlemen, something is happening. Look at that spaceship. I wonder who's there. Oh, it's Carey Rich from Jollymon.
Hello.
Hi, Carey.
I'm Kelly Clarkson.
You look a lot different. You look like my friend Carey. You have a nice beard, Kelly.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Sorry, dude. I don't know what's happening.
No, it's all good.
Every
dude.
now and then I'll get possessed by the spirit of Kelly Clarkson.
The spirit of Kelly. Wow.
Yeah, it's so random. And
That's a beautiful thing.
yeah, I'll speak to my wife like that every now and then. She's a good sport and plays along.
Do you channel any other American Idol winners as well?
That's it.
You don't have a Clay Aiken in you that's just aching to get out?
Oh, man.
Dad humor. There we go.
Yeah,
We're not even 30 seconds in, and I won with that one.
It's bizarre. Every dad I meet has it down. They just can
So I'm curious. Has it been your observation that the more kids you have, the more amounts of dad humor you have? Because doesn't Jay Gold have like 6 kids or something?
No, he's got 3 girls. He doesn't pull it out that much now that you mention it. That's funny.
Well, if it's all girls, he probably wants to be around a bunch of dudes.
Yeah. Or maybe it just goes over my head. But the dudes at work. Yeah.
That could be cool, but how I remembered Clay Aiken, I have no idea. That's a weird one.
Yeah, just say that.
I must have lost a phone number from my childhood because of that.
Speaking of that actual one, Ruben Stutter was the better, and he should have won. Actually,
I remember that dude.
Clay Aiken was second, and he got bigger.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
I shouldn't know any of that.
So we've got a show coming up, man. We're gonna play together at the HiFi Music Lounge down in Eugene.
Yeah, HiFi rocks.
Yep.
I've only seen the big room. Yeah, we played the little room opening up for Rob's band. That was a good show.
Well, you're about ready to see the big room from the other side.
How would you compare it to Wow Hall size?
It's a little more open than Wow Hall. And for our show, we're about ready to do a 14 and over. And what that means is they're going to open up the back part and it's going to become a bar, obviously. So if you're 14, you can go in the main part and see it like you would Wow Hall.
So that's weird. It's not all ages.
It's not all ages, no.
So wonder why they pick 14. Do you know the rules behind that?
I don't.
It's the fucking first I've ever heard it. Now, when you were explaining that to me earlier, now I get it. You were telling me all about the bar and shit. You're like, 14 and over. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck.
No, if you're 14, you can go in the bar.
Yeah. Weird. 14?
Yeah, it's a trip. Yeah, I don't know.
13, because you're a teenager. Because they make such a big deal out of it.
I don't know.
Oh, I want to butcher that up. I want to know why.
To look at Lane County laws. God. So since we spoke last, also too, I mean, you guys have been busy. You put out VoidWalker.
Yep.
And that went well. In fact, you got John Bolt to come up for the CD release show at Doug Fir.
Yeah.
That was a rockin' show, man. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was a real fun show. Our sampler died right before the show, and that was the only wrench because we had like this mapped out set with samples in between songs and all that shit, but it totally failed.
Were those samples from the record, or were those just like samples you had come up with for the live show?
Yeah, just ones I came up with for the live show, and it worked during sound check. We didn't know what happened, and then they were trying to waste time fixing it, as we just went out and did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we tried to do the revisit of the gas masks and the suits and all that shit.
Right.
And it felt, after seeing it and even kind of doing it, it was really, I guess, pretentious, but we're not big enough to be pretentious, I feel like. But it felt weird, like we should have just come out normal, or else we should have just done it all the way, full on, like we used to with all the gas masks and all that shit.
But I think the danger might be, today it would be considered a shtick.
Yeah, and it's because it was from back in the day. It was the only reason I think it could work. But we aren't doing any of the sequencing. It is weird doing it older. I mean, it's a dead thing, and but the reaction from the fans has been, that was a tough one. They were all wanting it back really bad. It was almost it not even a comparison, but to compare is like Kiss taking off their makeup. It was a bad idea. And they suffered for it.
Right.
And there was a lot of backlash for that. It was funny just over the internet and shit, which wasn't a big deal. But now seeing the shows compared, I can't blame them because it is. So you have to really love the music. It's cool to see us rock, but
Right.
we used to do a great show and it didn't matter.
Right.
So now seeing that, I'd be disappointed too.
Well,
it's like I've seen Guar without their stuff on. You're like, ugh.
Have you
this
really?
Sucks. Yeah.
I've never seen that.
It sucks. It just sucks.
One other element too, and this came up when I was speaking to Daniel Riddle, was we got so used to smoke and bombs and pyrotechnics and just things that people would do on stage. You're lucky if you can even bring a smoke machine in these venues anymore. So it's like there's an element that is kind of naturally going to be missing from that.
Yeah, that's true. Well, in some of the shittier clubs, well, I shouldn't say shittier, but more dingier, they're still prestigious to play at. We'll allow it, and they have their own fog. But like Mississippi, for example, we had to get special permission to even run a hazer, and then they had to do something with the fire department to let them know that when the hazer does set off the fire alarm to not come and all that shit. And so yeah, to what you just said, it's a pain in the ass. So places like that, we definitely couldn't pull off what we used to because it would have set off the fire alarm. So the light guy had special orders. He could barely do the haze just to get the beams. And
You looked
cool.
good.
Yeah, it looks
for
cool.
sure.
I would have set those ones on the balcony somewhere else. They were a bit too high, and I mean, it looks cool, but if I'm going to pay a lot for that and get picky about it, I would have put them somewhere else.
Yeah.
So
So you did VoidWalker since we talked last, and you did it at Stephen Hawk's studio. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he knows John. Is that correct?
Yep. I think they
Okay.
did the assisted living stuff.
Oh, right. Okay. I forgot about assisted living.
I think they did. I'm not sure.
Well, I didn't forget about them, but
Right.
Right.
And Joe's other project recorded there too. He was the drummer for assisted living and for Jollymon. Joe Graham. But he's not on any Jollymon's albums, but blah blah blah. Yeah.
so you did the record there, and what was that like? How long did it take?
Combined, well, so it took I feel like a good month per everyone's schedule, but all combined, I would say no more than 2 weeks, and the longest part was getting the guitar tracked.
And was that based off of like tone or songs or?
Solos. Just getting the solos down.
Sure, okay.
Because a lot of them, John just wrote in the studio there, and it just took like
that would definitely take some time for
Yeah.
sure.
Some of them did. Yeah, they didn't have a solid one, and we would just sit there and say yes or no, or repeat this and repeat that, kind
And
of
so
thing.
of the songs that are on VoidWalker, were most of those kind of written over the years before you went into the studio, or?
Yeah, VoidWalker itself, the whole first part, the fast, heavy part, was written. I wrote that in 1988, and this band called Final Strike I was in used to play a version-ish of it, but that was the main route. And then the second spacey, Floydy part, just wrote this year or the year we put the album out. But I mean, there's not much to writing that. We were just trying to come up with another part and settled for that. It's really cool, but I feel like if we had spent more time, there could have been a cooler part. It actually used to be longer. It used to be like that whole vocal part and then just go into this long Floyd solo,
Right.
It was cool, but it was like, all right, we get it.
So are
Let's
there
listen
any
to Floyd instead?
Are there any songs on VoidWalker that were written by exclusively with this new incarnation, just the three of you guys?
Tsunami would have been the closest, but no, these are all I had written long ago. And two, some of the framework with the original lineup with Greg and Carl, that would have been Slice of Life and Tsunami.
Wow,
Actually,
for reals?
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We actually played both those versions of those at La Luna back in the day.
Really?
Yeah, just none of them made the
Wow.
album. They weren't finished. So they just sat dormant till now. I mean, I never touched them with any other project. And then a couple of the other songs are ones I wrote and performed with Monkey Hawk, which was after Goat Head. And then 3 or 4, I forget, are from Goat Head. And Malcolm Brown, who was with Jollymon the longest, co-wrote some of those guitar parts. He has credit on the record, and he gave me permission to use those songs. So that's cool. Yeah, like Missile Commander, A Good Day, Sky Burial, and Forecast.
Okay.
They're all Goat Head.
I mean, there isn't a single clunker on that record. It is so good. And you guys have got so many good reviews of it too.
Yeah, we've gotten some lucky reviews, you know.
Stoner fuzzy rock metal sort of.
Yeah.
I like how you put up the combination of the what people say on the website.
Oh yeah.
It's like Black Sabbath meets.
Yeah, was it Mastodon, Clutch, Black Sabbath, and Floyd had a baby? That was honestly that was our very first review, and
really?
Yeah, that's been our kind of our flagship review, and if we push anything, that's always out there. It gets the most attention of people because our name sucks. It's totally deceiving from our sound, and people like if they read that, they're like, oh, they'll give it the time of day if they care about any of those bands.
Right.
So, and that's what led to a lot of other press and action across the U.S. and the globe that our PR guy had nothing to do with. And it's okay to share parts of the game. You know, a lot of bands get a PR person, and a PR person will push an album out there to get reviewed. Back in the day, you had to, research where it'd be real magazines and stuff than actual publications. You'd have to actually mail the CD out. Well, it's so much easier now that you could just send out digital copies to anyone and everyone. But the other thing is, which is good and bad, there's a bazillion write-up people out there now, or little bloggers and stuff that are big and small or medium, We'll get some action that at the time I didn't really look, but I was really stoked. It's like something from Ireland did a write-up, and I'm just loving it. And I even sent the guy a shirt. Turns out he's got like 21 readers.
Right.
And it's over, and it spent me $27 to send him a shirt. But it was still worth it, and he's a fan.
It's like $1 a reader.
Yeah,
it's expensive fans. No, and so look, so by the same token, and I try to kind of avoid this on this podcast, but since it's just me and you here, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. But so you guys kind of fell into the whole kind of stoner rock, air quotes, stoner rock kind of thing.
Yeah.
7 Second Circle fell into prog rock, right? And so we did kind of the same thing, but kind of without a PR guy. So we would like look for blogs, we would send CDs off to these people, right? And we had the opposite effect where it was like, I think it was called like progarchive.org or something like that. It looked like it was GeoCities from 1996, right? Mm-hmm, whatever. Mm-hmm. But the amount of traffic, they reviewed us, gave us 5 out of 5 stars, right, on the 7 Second Circle Divide record. And I woke up one morning and like Bandcamp had like 58 sales or something. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? So it works both ways. And it's almost impossible to tell who has the traction and who has the stickiness that goes along with that. So I'm with you. Somebody can have a really awesome, slick looking website and have like 14 people visit it a month or something.
Oh, yeah. And you just got to take it all because, so even for that example, so that thing we were just talking about, the first review with the Mastodon Clutch and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Description. People would read that. And even so people on Facebook who started up a metal page, they aren't anyone of anything and they don't have even a bio. They'll post one of our reviews up on their page. And I saw that. And I'm just like, hey, where did you see this? He's like, oh, I read it here. And, just to follow the trail. And then it just spread like that. So this happened... God, if I can remember, one of the dudes over in England caught one of our reviews. I still don't quite know how. And he posted us, and they have these online radios. Everyone has an online radio now that just streams and streams. So that's all cool. You're like, yay, but, you might show up once out of 5,000 different musicians,
right,
got streaming. So it's cool, but it's still nothing. So, it's hard to be excited and then sound bitter about it and then not appreciative. And if you knew better, like anyone starting now, you don't know any better. It's all reality and normal. And
we were talking earlier, and you said that people at your work found out you were in a band and that Spotify was the thing, right? So if you were on Spotify, you were like, you'd made it or something, right?
Yep, that's like the new radio, and they thought we were doing much better than we really are, and you're something and all that. So which is neat that that lures people to go listen to you, because usually people, you're hearing a band and they don't care, really want to listen to it, because usually they don't like it and then they don't want to have to engage with you about it. Usually they'll bullshit, yeah, it was good, or it's better if they don't listen to it, because then they don't have to say any opinion, right?
Right. Well, and then if they actually come see your show, you just tell them what Andy tells everybody, which is the more you drink, the better we sound.
Oh, yeah. Well, I figured if they actually came to see the show by that point, it's a good sign, because everyone can demo it so much before they even come to a show.
Well, yeah, so again,
I
mean, you make a really good point, is like putting the emphasis and the energy into the record. Going back to talking about Stephen Hawks, I mean, he knew your sound. Like, he captured you guys in a way that, to me, sort of personified what the live show is about. And it's all just, what I mean by that is it's very, very powerful, and it's all in nice and evenly keeled. Like, there's nothing that sort of stands out as being like, like that's a song that I want to skip, or a song that I think is too long, or whatever. Like, it all fits really, really well together. And I'm mentioning that just as partly as a segue that we chose Stefan to master our recording. So we also have a record coming out that's going to be at this HiFi show, which is going to be April 27th. So it's funny, Carey came in, and I like to have kind of everything sort of laid out, all the swag that anybody who comes in and does a podcast gets. And so, Carey's been here before, and we're buds anyway, so he actually ended up just getting the cassette single, and I have a poster of the HiFi Music Hall show coming up. And it wasn't until I'd already sent it off to the booking agent at HiFi that somebody pointed out to me that I had failed to put the date on there. And that is a faux pas. That's a newbie mistake that a 45-year-old man just made. And so I'm sitting here with him looking at this, and I said, "Hey, Carey, can you see what the faux pas is on this?" And in 3 seconds, he's all, "Hey, there's no date on here." I'm like, right. So the day of our show, the record release day, is going to be at the HiFi Music Lounge at 44 East 7th Avenue in Eugene, and it's going to be on Saturday, April 27th. Saturday, April 27th. 2 bands, just us and Jollymon. We're going to play about an hour and 50 minutes, probably about 2 hours.
Wow.
Jollymon's going to play about an hour. We're going to have an acoustic set in the middle.
What?
Yep. And we're bringing on, and we're in the middle of our show. We're going to play acoustic in the middle of your show. And plus, we have Brian Forster, who is the singer of 7 Second Circle. He's all over the new record. Him and his son are going to do background vocals for that show, too. So it's going to be, we've got... I think in some of your emails you said, "Hey, are you guys going to do those live?"
Who does the harmonies live?
Yeah, and for 3 of the CD release shows, Brian's going to come with his son.
So you and Rich can't or won't?
I can't sing. You don't want to hear me sing.
You haven't tried?
The dogs would be howling if I did. Rich does background vocals.
Okay.
But on the record, there's 4 or 5 people.
You could probably hit some high stuff.
Doing those.
Gotta just find your range.
I do.
Like the drummer at Kiss. He'll hit the high stuff.
Indeed. And so we've been filming these CD release shows, right? So we're very blessed. Jollymon's going to play with us on the first one. And then we have one coming up in Salem where I asked a band that had opened for you guys, and that band was True Primitives. And about a year, maybe a little bit less than a year ago, you turned me on to these guys. You're like, "Hey, these are, fuzzy space rock."
Are they doing the show?
I don't know yet.
Oh,
I actually just reached out to Clint, and he's checking with his guys this weekend.
Okay.
But I love that record. I immediately went out to, Bandcamp and got the record. And then when I went and saw you guys at Mississippi, they were actually selling physical copies of the record. So I was like, screw that. I'm going to totally just buy it right now.
Did they have CD or just vinyl?
I think they just had vinyl.
Okay, that was smart.
Yeah. So it's really great. I like it. And so I actually even reached out to Clint Sargent to come on this podcast. I just think he would have a really compelling story and just seems like kind of an interesting dude to
Clint's a real chill guy.
So did Clint play in Jollymon?
Yeah. So we just released Fucking Sailing. We're skyrocketing for a band. It's doing very well. From within a year from we formed, we were headlining Wow Hall, and then within that year, we're fucking headlining La Luna. It's like, what?
Yeah, that's a big deal.
It was just so fast and crazy. And we were playing all over the place, and I was working my ass off, like just street promotion, just shoving it down everyone's fucking throat pretty much. And being happy and nice about it, not being an asshole, but I was very aggressive.
I can't imagine you being an asshole. That would scare me, dude. That would frighten me. Anyway, go on.
You're gonna like this, or I'm gonna kick your ass. Yeah, I don't even know how I'd be
kick
an
my ass
asshole
with
about
kindness.
liking my band. No, but people like, oh really? What's it sound like? And I would sit there and be like, and just like mouth it off and rock out and dance for them till they're like, all right, that's weird, but we'll come and check it out. Because you didn't have anything, oh, can I listen to it right now on our phones? Beep, they'd have to come see it, or if hopefully I had a tape on me.
Right.
So anyway, we're doing real well. We released the record, and I think Carl, the guitarist, he just got a glimpse of the future and kind of the whirlwind up, and it was too much and too big for him. And he was married and wanting to live more of the chill married life, and probably, even in my fantasy of being married, probably had the same one. It's like, I'll go and rock, but I'll still have this cool wife to come home to, and da-da-da. But
yeah,
it was stressing out their relationship, and his wife was really cool. She was supportive and all, but he just didn't want to be away. And I think he saw more of the dark side coming, which it's there, and didn't want to have to explain. So anyway, long story short, he quit, and he quit honorably, in my opinion. Just
Carl, the guitar player.
Yeah,
okay.
He had good reasons, and just said it to our face, and it wasn't easy for him. So there, me and Greg are we're peaking. We're just getting this manager up in Seattle who's getting us at the Rock Candy. We were starting to headline there, the Off Ramp,
right,
and the Color Box. We put the word out. We needed a guitar player, and we got this call from a fan from Salem. He was this 18-year-old named Jay Sanders, and he already knew all the music because he'd been to all our shows and just was a hardcore fan. And we're like, well, all right, no brainer. He knows all the music. We had him up for practice, and it's done. His sound was a little janglier, I'd say. He played through a Marshall amp and a Les Paul, and it was just a little bit different of a tone. Carl was much more metal and sonic.
Okay.
So that was a little weird. But so anyway, we do shows. We went on a string of shows, and he did fine, and the crowd didn't give a shit, because everyone's a little weird, but we're still new enough. It didn't matter. And so he kind of hit the wall like Carl. We were up in Seattle, and we were doing radio interviews and having to go to photo shoots and all this shit. And he just got overwhelmed. He was only 18, and and so this
how old were you?
So I was 22, 23 still.
Okay, so you were still pretty young yourself.
Yeah,
okay.
That's where like you said, that picture of and that's where Greg was wrong on that posting of his last show at La Luna, if that's what he said.
Oh, the YouTube video we were talking about?
Yeah, it wasn't, because we played with Jay there too, and that was afterwards.
Oh, okay.
And Jay just got overwhelmed, so he quit. And there we were, and me and Clint were living together down in Portland, and I met Clint down in Eugene, and he was my first friend down there because I moved out from Washington, D.C., and didn't know anyone. And even though I had the band and we were doing that, none of us were friends and hung out. And I met Clint. He was in another band who opened for us, and that's the show where we decided our name. We were kind of forced to pick Jollymon. It was the only one we could agree on. And so he was at that show opening for us. That's how I met Clint. Good friend.
Oh, wow.
So, we just became buds for up until that point and still are. So anyway, we're living together up in Portland, and he knew some of the songs and can play by ear real well. I was like, well, so we have momentum. We have all these shows booked. So instead of canceling shows and trying out guitars, all that, I'm like, well, let's just throw Clint in there. He can do it. And we jammed with him, and it was a little different sound, but it was working fine. Like, I wrote everything, and I could tell what worked and what didn't. Between him and Jay, it was fine and perfect. It was just fine for Jollymon. It was another Jollymon. It was fine. It was a little different than those two, more in between. And Greg wasn't having it. He wanted to do tryouts and us go through finding this elite guitarist. Now we're up at this point. We could have our pick. And he was right. We could have, but it would have taken a while. And I was more into brohood, I'd already been enough with, I don't know who you guys are. We're just jamming together. And
yeah.
that was fine. And maybe that was part of Greg's thing, because me and Clint were tight and he felt the odd man out. So, but at the same time, for about half a year or ish, I forget the timeline, everything was going so fast, Greg started getting courted by many bands, Nero's Rome, Sweaty Nipples, some side project he was doing called Tiny with the singer Drunken Abbeys. There's one other one that was...
Drunken Abbeys, man, they were pretty big up here.
Yeah, they were. Everclear.
Right.
He was being courted by all of them, and he was filling in for shows because all these bands needed a drummer at this time. So he was just, and all the time, no, it's cool. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just playing. It was kind of coming to go. We did a show with Clint and it was fine. Or did we do a show with him? No, we hadn't done a show yet, but we were doing fine. And I'm like, dude, let's just go with Clint. He's like, no, I'm not having it. And I was like, you don't have to deal with these. Like, you're not going to be the one who's having to get a new guitarist and show him and all this stuff. So I wouldn't budge, and neither would he. So he quit. And that was
Greg
that.
quit.
Yeah, Greg
That's how
quit.
Greg quit. Okay.
That's what he told me. It was over Clint. Flash forward to a year ago, and we're hanging out with our publicist guy, Alex. I never can pronounce his last name. He's good friends with Greg. And also the bassist from Everclear was there at this party, the Crave Dog parties. And he proceeds to tell me that Greg quit. Greg told him he quit Jollymon because Everclear offered him a deal he couldn't refuse. And so it just all hit me of how he was acting at the time and everything. He used Clint as his scapegoat as why he quit, instead of saying, dude, because at the time, Everclear sucked in everyone's eyes. They couldn't pack out Belmonts. They couldn't do shit. They only knew people from Capitol Records. And that's how that motherfucker got signed. Because their numbers couldn't back it at all. And I'm not being bitter or anything. That's just the facts of the deal. And so they got Greg, and yeah, he joined, and all the rest is history. So, and for all that time, I was like, I felt it was a step down drummerly wise and how everyone viewed him. It was a step up in the rock world, and you're going somewhere. But as far as the local scene and seeing, because Greg was a great drummer, and that was definitely a step down as far as showing your talent. I feel, and I wouldn't budge on this, he would argue with me, but that's why he used Clint as the quitting reason.
But in a weird way, Carey, though, that actually makes sense, because what Greg was doing probably at the time, especially being so young, is he was really concerned about your opinion of him. In other words, it would be more difficult for someone in that space to go, hey, I got this better gig. Because I remember having that really uncomfortable conversation with 2 bands I was in to join Henry's Child. And they're like, oh my God, you're joining Henry's Child? Really? And I'm just all like, yeah, hell yeah.
Well, it's okay if you like him, and it's okay if he liked him. That's what I didn't get. It's just like, stand your ground. If you like him, you like him. That's killer.
Sure.
Dude.
No, totally.
Go
Totally. So anyway, so that is how Clint was in Jollymon. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, that was a long story to that. Yeah, so that's how Clint got in Jollymon, and that rattled Clint too. That hurt. He's like, why does he's quitting because of me? So that shot his confidence way down. But then we got Blackburn.
Okay, Mark. Yeah. Mark is an awesome drummer.
Yeah, and it's not to diss Greg. Greg is great, but Mark is just he's a beast, and so that was a very lucky, surprising upgrade we got. So put Mark in the throne and scared Clint. It made no difference. We got up there. I remember we had a La Luna show. That's where I was scared, and people were kind of seeing, like, they knew who the members were, but if all of a sudden 2 members are totally different, it's all of a sudden me. So we did this very dark show with only these floor lights. Like, it just looked like siren lights, but they were just beams going round and round, red. The whole show, we did nothing. And so it was really dark, and the crowd went nuts. It was like a great show no one knew. At least it seemed like it. And
it was all foreplay, though.
It was.
There was no explosions.
Yeah, and but the sad part about that whole thing is I was going through my own demons bullshit with that marriage story I told you earlier, and this was the very beginning of it. We had just gotten married, and she was spiraling down, and I was to focus that and nurture it, and the band. It was so long. Still, I have a bunch of long stories short. Me and Hannah packed up everything and moved to DC, back to where my parents were, to deal with like that and just shut down everything. Yeah, and kind of reset ourselves. And we didn't totally know about her thyroid yet. That's where she got diagnosed out there. And we found out that. And
okay.
So we were only out there 9 months, and she flew back to be with her mom, and I drove me and the cats back, and that's when we got Jollymon 2 back together. So that's when I called up Mark and Brian Smith from Anzio Bridgehead, because they had broken up, and he was a great guitarist. So I was like, well, let's kind of put an all-stars together.
Yeah, Anzio Bridgehead, man. Those guys were big.
They were great.
Them.
And that was 95, so we put out Nobody Knows Who You Are. Yep. And luckily John agreed to do another record, and it's a good record, but it was rushed and forced, and we were just trying to, Jolly had been down for 9 months to a year, so we were just trying to rush back and not to lose too much momentum.
Well, I didn't know that you'd split back to DC for like 9 months. But that was right at the height of Jollymon, huh?
Oh man, I mean, yeah, that was a bad move.
You know what though? You're back, and the game has changed, and
yeah, it's funny. Those are all the paths of my own personal growth and where I'm at now. It's funny how that has nothing to do with the band, of what it's all turned me into. So none of it could change. I couldn't. That's what's tough. You're like, ugh, that was a bad move, but definitely shapes how you are. And again, I'm doing well now.
You're doing great, man. You're
mentally
happy. You got a good marriage. You got like a good band. I mean,
yeah.
And it's funny. It's you never really know in the moment what's shaping you and how it's becoming a part of you. That's really the amazing thing that I've felt. But that's great, man. We're looking forward to the show. It's going to be awesome. I wanted to try something new. I would only try this on the fly with Carey here. Carey's my friend. This might bomb. This might be awesome. You said something earlier on that I wrote down really quickly on my phone. And it was a band name. And the band name was Final Strike.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to play a game with you now.
Okay.
And I'm just making this game up on the fly. I'm going to start from my very beginning. And I'm going to say a band name of a band that I was in. And then I want you to say a name of a band that you were in. So think all the way back to like, middle school
very
or whatever, the
beginning.
very beginning. I'm kind of thinking here I probably only have 4 or 5.
All right.
So
I don't know how many I have.
Final Strike, I mean, come on. That's awesome. I hear that and I see like in my mind Missile Command.
Was, yeah. Well, the funny thing was it was all high school, but those guys, we were awesome cover band. We could cover almost any metal song and we didn't have a vocalist. So it's just like you do all these songs and you do parties and these this school shows and people would pack and love it, but we still didn't have a singer. It was the weirdest thing that they liked.
So was it just instrumental?
Yeah, we would just play like, fucking Master of Puppets instrumental. And to this day, some of the best guitar players I've ever played with. And Thom Nicholson is one of the best guitar player I've played with. But back in those days, those guys were better. They could
really,
and their harmonies, and they could sight read like music, play by
Whoa.
ear. It was amazing. So the stuff they wrote was really cool. But yeah, any cover song. So just to be able to do that, because I play by ear, and I can sight read, but it's slow, picking out and all that shit from piano lessons days. But
okay, so think back.
oh yeah, so
think
band
back
names.
to your band name. Okay, ready? So I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
Amethyst.
Oh wow, Amethyst.
And it would like the A and the T would come out in this big, almost circular kind of thing, and then there would be like little like what you call those like gleaming things like of a diamond.
Oh yeah.
Off the side. So amethyst. So think of the A and the T. Yeah, it's pretty butt rock.
That's pretty cool.
Amethyst. Yep.
Mine was I think in 7th grade, and we were foil with a backwards L.
Foil.
Yeah.
FOIL. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we made a on the kick drum for the bass drum head. We used an old carpet remnant and cut out the letters in foil. That's so stupid.
It makes sense in a 7th grade kind of way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay, so amethyst, foil. Okay, that's good. Okay, ready? This is still high school, by the way.
Okay.
Warrior.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty.
That's pretty metal.
Pretty chill. Was that metal?
It was Christian metal.
Oh.
So even better, the combination
the best
of
kind
both.
Of metal. Oh man.
The only kind of metal.
I'm having a hard time thinking of names and bands. There was that. There was Zeister. XYSTER or something like that. I think it's some weird bone scraping tool. Yeah, we were trying to be metal.
Zeister.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, Zeister, that's good. Okay, ready? Rain's Edge.
Dude. That's pretty cheesy.
That's really cheesy.
Rain's Edge. There's an edge to the rain.
Yeah, it is. and it's for 100% clarification. It's not rain like rain from the sky. It's rain like you're reigning over a kingdom. So REINS.
Right.
Rain's
like Reign Supreme.
Edge. Yeah. Like Burrito Supreme. Exactly. Right.
Rain's Edge. Dude. Rain Dance Villains. Oh my God. Yeah.
Rain Dance Villains.
That's
awesome.
Embarrassing. That was kind of an REM meets Frank Zappa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you have any recordings of Rain Dance Villains?
I think there's some tapes I might still have that I didn't record over. I was real bad about that. I'd have a project. I'm like, I don't have a blank tape. Fuck it. And just record over.
Yeah, your mom's
over
wedding.
and over.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly.
So.
Okay, and I have one more. Hack.
What kind of music?
What kind of music was Hack? Hack was interesting.
It's like
Hack was with
techno.
a guy who eventually ended up singing on one record with Henry's Child, and it was kind of this like he had an acoustic guitar, and I knew the drummer really well, and I don't know, it was just rock.
Okay.
Kind of alternative rock.
Hack. I didn't really, and then from there, I just jammed with friends and stuff. We just had a bunch of jams. I could never really solidify anything. And then I went to that school, and that was the weird high school band, like with real instruments.
Right, you talked about that.
Yeah. So and I jammed a lot with my teacher and his buddies, but nothing ever formed. I know me and Kurt jammed a lot, but did we have a name? Fucking hell.
So, Carey, you had written kind of passively in a mail to me like a week ago that you guys were kicking around the idea of redoing some songs off of Sailing.
Since we started, we play The Machine and Glass-Headed Boy, and that was it. Those, let me think.
They're still crowd favorites, man.
Yeah, so
Totally.
More opinion and requests kept coming in, especially for Fairy Tale, which is
That's a good song.
it rocks, but there's some parts that I like it now again. It's been tough. It's just some parts I never really liked. It was more the goofy, the jangly part. Honestly, it's our most nonsensical song, and it was bigger than The Machine back in the day. It was like one of our biggest songs.
Dude, that's that groove, that gun.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the ode.
Is that the ode?
Well,
What is in my fairy tale?
They're similar, so yeah.
Oh, it's got the hop to it. That's what it is. It's got the hop. Yep.
Yeah, so it's cool. It just dated to me, and we probably played it way too much. And then it just comes down to the vocals. That I don't mind singing nonsense, but it's one of the silliest ones, and I just got to get over it and sing it because everyone loves it. And we played it to Mississippi, and it went over great. And so anyway, John and Mark brought it up. They wanted to just explore doing the whole thing, and I only want to because the first version is way too fast. Greg and I would argue about this. I don't know how I got overridden in the studio. I should have been more stubborn on it, but he rushed everything and stood his ground on it. It's all way too fast. You're
talking about tempo-wise?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tempo-wise. They weren't written that way. They were intended slower. Live, we'd play a little slower, but really he would even play faster live. And that's typical of drummers. But so anyway, ironically, that's one of our most popular albums, but it's my least favorite. I hate it, actually, because of that. And there's a bunch of, dry vocals. That's not to Jollymon. Like you said, how Stefan, this last one, is the most accurate of our sound. And he didn't know anything. He just kind of heard what we were shooting for, and I played him my vocal effects thing, and he matched it. And fuck. Yeah, it's the one that actually sounds like us.
Yeah. So, Carey, any surprises from Jollymon for the HiFi show coming up on April 27th?
April 27th at the HiFi. Surprises. We're playing a little longer than normal.
Yeah, cool.
We usually try to keep it short. We're playing The Sound of Ascension, which we haven't played in a real long time, and that was the remake of The Plant. And
interesting. Yeah. Okay.
But I will plug that we have all of our catalog up online now through our website and Bandcamp.
Nice.
All 4 albums. No, 5 albums, plus the 2-song single, but blah, 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 blah.
So can anybody go to Bandcamp and buy those records?
Yeah, yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay.
It's all up there. No, those aren't on Spotify yet, but they'll be up within the next 2 months just because of each album cost was like $60-$70 to get up on the pro package and all that shit.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Well, thanks for coming by, man. I appreciate you taking the time and playing some music and chatting a while. It was very cool. Oh, okay. Is your spaceship ready to go?
Almost ready. I have to make a few adjustments here. Almost. Okay. Yeah, it's ready.
Okay, bye, Carey. See you April 27th.
Right on, Tommy. Take it easy. It's been awesome.